There is a device sitting on your desk, or perhaps resting on your lap right now.
It is a window to the world. A tool that allows you to connect with grandchildren across the ocean.
Jennings. Read the news from a dozen countries and manage your finances with the click of a button.
For the modern senior, the computer and the tablet have become lifelines. Tools to stay engaged and relevant.
We are told that using technology helps prevent decline. That playing brain games is exercise for the mind.
But there is a terrifying paradox emerging. A specific habit is actually physically shrinking your brain.
It is not pornography or violent video games. It is something much more subtle and common.
It is the habit of rapid task switching and passive information consumption. The infinite scroll.
We call it the popcorn brain. Jumping from headlines to email to weather every 10 seconds is not exercise. It fragments your attention span.
This constant distraction triggers cortisol, which acts like a corrosive acid on the hippocampus.
The hippocampus is the memory center, the librarian that indexes your life.
It turns short-term memories, like breakfast, into long-term memories.
When it shrinks, you lose the ability to form new memories. This is the hallmark of Alzheimer's. Heavy internet users show significant atrophy. You are literally trading your gray matter for digital data.
In this guide, we expose the dangers and provide the digital defense protocol.
Hit subscribe so you never miss a health tip made just for you.
Part 1. The Librarian of the Mind. The Hippocampus.
Deep inside lie two seahorse-shaped structures, the hippocampi.
They are the most plastic part of the brain. They can grow and they can shrink.
Their job is spatial navigation and memory consolidation, remembering a room or a name.
It works by physically growing new connections between neurons to store information.
However, it is covered in receptors for cortisol. It is incredibly sensitive to stress.
Stress causes excitotoxicity. The neurons literally burn out and die.
A shrunken hippocampus is the #1 physical predictor of Alzheimer's.
Part 2. The popcorn brain phenomenon.
The digital world is designed to be addictive, to grab your attention and hold it.
It uses variable rewards. You scroll, not knowing what you will see next. This uncertainty releases dopamine, the seeking chemical. It makes you want to click.
But the brain cannot process new info every 3 seconds. It gets overwhelmed. Rapid context switching wastes energy. Wedding photo. War report. Shoe ad.
The brain adapts by becoming shallower. It stops storing long-term memory.
You are training your brain to be a sieve, not a sponge.
Use it or lose it. If you never use deep memory circuits, they wither away.
Part 3. The Google effect. Digital amnesia.
We are outsourcing memory. 30 years ago, you had to know phone numbers.
You had to store them in your brain. Now we have contacts lists.
We treat the internet as an external hard drive. We don't bother to encode.
Struggling to recall a fact is a workout for the hippocampus. It strengthens pathways.
When you instantly look it up, you rob your brain of that workout.
It is like taking the elevator every day. Eventually, your legs become weak.
We see seniors who can't remember meds without reminders. A lazy brain shrinks.
Part 4. The GPS Trap.
Spatial memory is a primary function of the hippocampus.
London taxi drivers memorize the knowledge. They have significantly larger hippocampi.
Their brains physically grew to accommodate the mental map.
Turn left.
Contrast that with GPS. You stop looking at landmarks. You blindly follow the voice.
You disengage from the environment. You turn off the spatial navigation system.
This is why getting lost is a first sign of Alzheimer's. That part of the brain has been dormant.
Challenge yourself. Navigate without the screen. Use paper maps.
Part 5. The blue light toxicity.
Screens emit blue light, high energy. It mimics the sun at noon.
It hits the retina and tells the master clock, it is daytime. Be awake.
This suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone. Why does this matter for memory?
Because the brain cleans itself during sleep.
The glymphatic system acts like a dishwasher during deep sleep. It washes away toxic proteins like beta amyloid and tau, which form Alzheimer's plaques.
Without deep sleep, the system cannot run. Toxins build up. Neurons die.
Part 6. The sedentary ischemia. Part 6. The sedentary ischemia.
Computer use is sedentary. Sitting still reduces systemic blood flow.
Poor posture, or tech neck, compresses vertebral arteries.
This leads to cerebral hypoperfusion. Just enough blood to survive, not thrive.
Over years, this contributes to small vessel disease. Capillaries wither and die.
This disconnects brain parts, leading to slow processing and confusion.
Exercise flushes the brain. If you are on the computer, you are not exercising.
Part 7. The cortisol news cycle.
What are we looking at? Usually news, a 24-hour stream of catastrophe.
It is designed to trigger fear. Fear keeps you watching.
Consuming this for hours bathes your brain in cortisol. It kills hippocampal neurons and shrinks the prefrontal cortex, responsible for logic.
It creates a vicious loop. Anxiety damages the brain, making it harder to handle anxiety.
This is doom scrolling, seeking reassurance but finding more fear.
It keeps you in chronic fight or flight, inflaming the brain.
Part 8. The dopamine desensitization.
Every email and notification gives a hit of dopamine.
It feels good.
But the brain seeks balance. If you flood it, it reduces receptors. This is downregulation. You become desensitized. You need more to feel normal.
This manifests as boredom with the real world. Books feel too slow.
Conversations feel too long. You lose pleasure in slow activities.
Slow activities build cognitive reserve. The computer trains you to be bored by life.
Part 9. The Social Isolation Paradox.
Computers promise connection, but heavy users are often the most lonely.
Real interaction requires reading micro expressions and tone. A massive workout.
Digital interaction is flat, text and curated images. It doesn't stimulate the social brain.
Loneliness doubles dementia risk. If computer replaces lunch dates, it shrinks your brain.
Part 10. The Warning Signs.
Sign 1. Goldfish attention span. Walking into rooms and forgetting why.
Sign 2, the verbal stumble. Relying on whatchamacallit more often.
Sign 3. Navigation struggle. Panic without GPS in familiar places.
Sign 4. Sleep disruption. Waking up unrefreshed.
Sign 5, mood shift. Irritable or anxious after computer use. Your hippocampus is calling for help.
Part 11, the Digital Defense Protocol.
Do not throw it away, but move from passive consumer to active user.
Rule 1. Single tasking. One tab open. Read to the end.
Force your brain to focus on one thing. This rebuilds attention span.
Rule 2. 20-20-20. Every 20 mins, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds.
Add movement. Stand up and march. Restore blood flow to the brain.
Rule 3. Blue light curfew. Use blocking software. Turn off screens 2 hours before bed.
Give your brain the darkness it needs for melatonin.
Rule 4. Active recall. Don't use Google as a crutch. Struggle for it.
If you look it up, write it down by hand. Reinforce the trace.
Rule 5. GPS vacation. Memorize the route before you drive.
This reactivates the spatial navigation centers of the hippocampus.
Rule 6. Content diet. Be picky. Avoid the news cycle.
Learn a skill. Language, chess, painting. Create new pathways. Make the computer a classroom, not a casino.
Part 12. Neurobics. Exercise for the mind.
Do everyday tasks in a new way to stimulate activity.
Use your mouse with your non-dominant hand. Build new connections.
Rearrange desktop icons so you have to look for them. Break the autopilot.
Read long-form content. Hold a complex story in your mind for hours.
Part 13. The nutritional shield. Feed your hippocampus. You need
BDNF, fertilizer for brain cells.
Nutrient 1, omega-3s. Salmon, walnuts. Build cell membranes.
Nutrient 2, curcumin. Boosts BDNF and clears plaque.
Nutrient 3. Blueberries. Increase blood flow to the hippocampus.
Nutrient 4, dark chocolate. Huisat, improves focus.
Conclusion. The tool versus the master. The computer is a hammer. It builds or destroys, depending on who holds it.
Do not become a servant to the machine.
Your brain is paying the price.
Take control. Use technology with intention and boundaries.
You lived a life before the internet. You remember how to memorize and focus.
Reclaim those skills.
Protect your hippocampus. It holds the story of who you are.
Now, I would love to hear from you. Is your memory worse since using the internet?
Do you rely on GPS everywhere you go?
Share your experience below. Honesty is the first step.
If helpful, type 1. If not, type.
Like, share, subscribe to protect your brain and future.
Thank you for watching.
And take care of yourself. All of yourself. And